Hello and welcome back to our podcast, The La Project, where we'll be talking about international news and social issues in and out of the country. So we'll be starting with the monologue straight away. Joining me today is Bahrain J, and I am Han. Okay, so last week, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim met with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. He visited there for 3 days, and during a joint address, PM Anwar said that the meeting includes discussing areas such as digitalization, investment, trade, construction, agriculture, and education. And this makes a lot of sense, India and Malaysia have a lot in common. One is a country that had a notorious track record against minorities, and the other one is India. And based on the fact that Malaysia has the largest Indian descent population in Southeast Asia, it's likely that India views the country as a major target for tourism, which is in conjunction with Visit Malaysia 2026. So tourists from India can come travel to our many attractions in this country, only for them to be stopped at every roadblock on the way there. Sad, but it's true. Speaking of world leaders, Russian President Vladimir Putin met with the number 2 man in China, Li Keqiang, last week, and they were hailing growing trade relations as Moscow becomes increasingly dependent on China for political and economic support. The meeting took place as Russia struggled to push back a Ukrainian incursion into the Kursk region, now in its 3rd week. And as they were having this meeting, Moscow experienced one of the largest wave of drone attacks since the start of the Ukraine conflict. Grim news, and that's like if you went to the bank to get a refinance for your house, only to come back and see your neighbor taking a dump on the front lawn and drove the price down for your house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Russians are getting it this week, eh?
Yeah.
Did you hear about Pavel Durov?
No, what
Pavel
happened?
Durov is a billionaire, a Russian billionaire, who holds dual citizenship of Russia and the UAE of all countries, and he was just arrested in France a couple of days ago. He is, I'm sure if you've never heard of his name, you would have heard of his product, which is Telegram Messenger.
Yeah. I read about that.
He is being investigated for all of the child pornography and lewd human trafficking and what other very, very questionable practices that have been happening on Telegram.
But that was claimed by the French Prime Minister.
By the French Prime Minister, President Emmanuel Macron. Yeah.
I've also heard reports that he was also arrested because there are a lot of Telegram groups sharing Palestinian stories also, which was...
It makes sense because it seems like half of the world is in support of his arrest and the other half is not. So.
Yeah, okay. Back to our monologue. In the Southeast Asia region, in Indonesia, protests have erupted in several cities following a day of demonstrations in which 301 people were detained. Tear gas and water cannons were used to disperse the angry crowd, and the protests were accompanied by fury on social media towards the Prime Minister Jokowi, who stood to gain from proposed changes that would have allowed his son to seek office in Central Java, and he blocked an influential government critic from running for the higher profile post of Jakarta governor. It's sad to see this happen because, it would never happen in Malaysia.
You mean you're talking about Bersih? Bersih, how many Bersih was it? Like 4?
4,
5,
I think.
6?
Yeah,
I know, man.
I lost count already.
Yeah. So we so-called Bersih now, right?
So-called. All right, so back to local news. In Malaysia, a CEO of a highway concessionaire was arrested along with 2 other senior officials from the same company over bribery worth over 1.6 billion ringgit.
Which highway concessionaire was this?
It was not named. But
It was not named?
I mean, he was named, but I don't think it's...
Okay, continue.
Yeah. Okay. It was reported that the bribes were a reward relating to 2 highways in the Klang Valley area. But he was immediately released on bail after paying just 20,000 of the 150,000 bailout fee, according to his lawyer. And
so the total bribery was 1.6 billion?
1.6 billion
of course.
over time. Basically, there's two highways. One highway was around 1 billion, and the other highway was around 660 million.
So like the 1 billion was basically 1.6 billion was basically kickbacks and shit.
Yes. So it was labeled as reward by the lawyer. Yeah.
Big surprise. Wang Ihsan. That's what they call it, right? That's what the oil and gas industry calls it.
Yeah.
Wang Ihsan.
In other local news, the singer Yasin was recently arrested over 3 counts of drug-related charges. He will be imprisoned for life and he will be caned 16 times, you know. What a time to be alive.
This is criminal caning? Not Sharia caning, right?
Yeah, criminal caning.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
16 times, huh?
16 times, caned 16 times, you know. And he had some personal issues which he claims with the, I think he was charged with cannabis.
Yeah, possession. But I'm not too familiar. I read when it was happening that he actually grew some of the plants in his house or in his housing compound or something like that. And yeah, you can't do that in Malaysia, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, just go to Thailand, man. Do that.
Yeah. you could, yeah.
Yeah, so, it was sad because, I think it was true. It is a mistake from Yasin's part. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done all that, like planting all the plants in his home. Whereas he should have just done other crimes like bribery worth 1.6 billion ringgit instead. He'll be released on bail. Yeah. And okay, that's it for our monologue this week. I mean, there's so many stories around the world, but unfortunately we can't. We don't have the time to.
But there's one more though. Because we were speaking of India and Malaysia relations. How about that lady that fell into that sinkhole?
Oh yeah.
In Jalan Masjid India. That thing was crazy, man. Like I saw the video. Like is nuts. Like she fell in, and there was another man that almost fell in with her, who managed to climb out.
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay. If you look at the video, like that man just basically was hanging like on a ledge and managed to pull himself out. That is crazy, man. Like, how can that happen in literally, like, I don't know if any of you have been to Jalan Masjid India, but that is literally the most foot traffic in all of KL.
Oh wow, that was just unfortunate timing, I guess, for her.
Yeah, it was, and she was doing nothing. She was just walking.
She was just walking. Yeah.
And suddenly the earth
ground just collapsed.
Opened up. Like, wow. And then we find out that sewage line is 7 kilometers long.
Oh wow.
The sewage line that she fell in is 7 kilometers long. That's why they couldn't find her.
And it's been 5 days at this point already?
Yeah, I think close to
at the point of this recording.
Yeah. It's nuts.
And there's actually a few more potholes like in KL actually appeared over the last few days.
A few years ago, nearby, right in front of the curve, there was like a big sinkhole that swallowed up the car. Yeah. But it didn't go all the way into the sewage line, but it was a sinkhole. So
actually,
I know, man.
Actually, I drove nearby the Damansara Perdana area in Curve, and I was driving, and they closed one lane of the highway, and there was actually a huge pothole, and it wasn't like a pothole
on the highway.
Not on the highway, but right in front of Curve. Basically.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, which was crazy.
Damn.
And KL is sinking, I guess.
Engineering, man.
All right. Without further ado, I think we're gonna introduce our guest for.
We have a guest this week.
We have a guest this week, actually. Yeah, our first guest. Her name is Wan Shakila Adila binti Wan Azmi, and she happens to be the manager of Borneo Komrad.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for having
Hi, Shakila.
me.
Hi.
So, I guess to start with, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, and also what you do at Borneo Komrad, and most importantly, what is Borneo Komrad for our listeners?
So, hi, I'm Shakila. I'm born in Skedah but raised in KL. I'm 30 years old this year, and and I'm working as a manager of Borneo Komrad. So my job's basically more to administration, technicalities, and how do I combine with the technicalities and also the administration with the what happens on the ground specifically. Because Borneo Komrad is mainly concept is activists or our organisation based on the ground.
Right.
So we are very close with communities. We are not like probably other NGOs who are like doing 1 or 2 years of projects coming like touch and go or something, but we really live within the community and we build up our schools in the community.
Right.
So Borneo Komrad basically starting with the students movement in University of Malaysia Sabah back then in 2015.
Oh, wow.
So next year
Almost
will be
10 years.
our 10 years.
That's a long time for a student-based NGO. That's a very long time. Wow.
Yeah. So when we were students, because apart from the lecture things, assignment things, we often went to village and also to the streets. We found out that many kids didn't go to school.
Right.
Many villages didn't happen to be like when they were sick, they are not going to hospitals. So we began our engagement just saying hi to them and then asking how were they are well-being. So after graduation, we were thinking that these things cannot be one-off. Back then, we are also doing like small educational project. We when in Sabah there are so many street kids happen to be in the city.
Right.
Either they are begging for monies, they are sniffing glues, or they are selling food pack or snacks. So we happens conversation with them, and also we just provide them pencils and little bit papers just to teach them basic readings and writings.
Okay.
And then after graduation, we're thinking that this thing cannot be do one off. So what happens that we send our activists on the ground. Okay. So it's began with my comrades or my colleagues. His name is Mukmin. So he went to Semporna at first, and also like organizing school in community.
This Mukmin you're talking about is
Mukmin Nantang.
The founder of Borneo Komrad, right?
Sort of founder of Borneo Komrad, because we are collectively with the students.
Okay. Okay.
Back then. So starting from Semporna, we are expanding to Tawau and also Kota Kinabalu. So our main objective during at that time is just to give literacy, to eradicate illiteracy among these marginalized children.
Right.
But during the time, along the way, we found out that we're just not building school. We're just not giving them pencil and papers. But from schools, we're also realizing that much more social issues, much more concerns about, especially in undocumented individuals, and also what happens issues around these marginalized community and also areas. So from just education, we are expanding to capacity building in community, and slowly after and this year from Sekolah Alternatif, we are also I can say establishing a University Alternative, just a higher platform study for these kids to learn more deeper and more larger in terms of knowledge and meet more people.
I see.
Okay, you mentioned Borneo Komrad is focused on helping all these undocumented or stateless children, right?
Yep.
How does one become stateless?
Yes, it's very complex. I mean, it started from once the child born in this world, they are not registered.
Okay.
So they begin with being undocumented. So after they are growing up, they will tend or like risk to become stateless, because as simple as no country recognize them as one of the citizens. There are so much factors.
Okay.
The first one is poverty. Is very like the poverty is not just like we are seeing here in Peninsula, but I cannot like portray how the words that to describe the poverty. And also the system, because coming from poverty, you are unable to get access to go to hospital. Right. So from there, the kids just born in the house, and how to register when you are born in house, you have to provide some proof and all that, and most of even their parents are illiterate. And also the awareness, the knowledge coming from the parents. And if you are talking about specific, the real bajau laut, meaning the authentic one who lives on the island, in fact they are not born in house but in their small boat.
Yep.
And most of them can't speak Malay.
Yep.
Even though they are born in the island. So
what language do they speak?
The Bajau
their
or
own
Suluk,
language.
their own language, their mother tongue. So apart from the factors of poverty, and also the knowledge, and also the awareness, and also the encouragement, I mean, to go to present to the Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara to really say that I don't have document, how do I register myself. The fear of being present, and also the fear of meeting the authority.
Right.
So since they were kids, this problem are not solved. So it just like let it be until they are like growing bigger, and until now.
Okay, so okay, you mentioned like how these kids become stateless, but I wonder, like, if that's the case, are the parents also stateless? Because like you need documents and stuff like that, and probably there's challenges within the system to help these kids get maybe their IC or whatever. So how can one prevent this, let's say, for like,
or maybe start with how far does it go up? Like if their parents are stateless, like essentially what led to that statelessness? Like are their parents were they also stateless? Like have they always been like, because I've watched a few of Mukmin's podcasts, and he speaks of how these Bajau Laut people especially have been around the area, have lived off the land and off the sea in the area for thousands of years. True. Even before there were anything,
before the establishment of Malaysia,
of any kind of borders, you know. So where does the statelessness come from? Like did it start in 1963? Did it start before that? What, like how did this happen? Like how did the Bajau Laut become so marginalized?
Because statelessness come with the documents, with the citizenship. So I believe that it starts when the nation built.
Right.
Back then, if to be specific, in Malaysia, is 1963. I mean, because before this, they can roaring around, they can go in and out. For example, in Peninsula, we can see in Kelantan and also the south, the Patani, because
Golok.
there is the Golok. Yes, there is like we have in common. You are coming from that place, and we are here. But when border comes with the nation, Malaysia exists, and it cuts all of that. Probably in people in the city can get the access and also the knowledge, but people who in the rural area are barely to get what happens and the importance of the documents.
Right.
If you're talking about the parents, yes, probably some of them, yes, stateless. They are also like the documents are really not manageable, and some of them are really didn't know the importance of documents. But when it happens, because it is really generational, so probably the parents didn't see the importance of it. But when it's come to this nowadays of generations,
this is more important than ever.
So it is like be too late for the parents to manage that. So it's really like more factors and more reasons of it. But I believe that we don't have one or two or systems that can cover, I mean, the persons or in this marginalized area. I'm talking about this because last 3 weeks I brought my student, 8 of them, to JPN to manage their documents and all that. But the thing is, all of these terms and conditions coming from the Putrajaya, coming from the center, coming from the federal, without looking.
What kind of terms and conditions?
Okay, for example, most of my students are born in the house.
Okay.
So they're asking for.
This is students of your Sekolah Alternatif, right?
Yes, in Semporna. So the terms and conditions are are looking for who is their mid birth, who is their persons who are seeing the process of the birth.
Or anyone
Right.
involved in
Just
the
like
midwife and all that.
the midwife,
Yeah.
and also the documents, the documentation that prove that he or she that get treatment in clinics and all that.
Right.
But the thing is, some of them because they lives in Water Village house is burnt
Yep.
together with the document, and so they are feel very helpless because some of the terms are really not really supporting them in terms of to make them not just saying the blue card, but the birth certificate. That is the beginning of the everything.
Yep.
So the statelessness is really making them really hard, not just to apply, because if they want to apply, but the conditions or the system are not siding of them.
Right.
Looking at their conditions and also how they can get access to make that.
So there's no like government kiosk near like, because I know I don't know much about how they do it in Sabah, but I know for a fact in Sarawak, especially in the pedalaman, in a lot of the close by to the longhouses, they have
That mobile one?
community outreach and mobile outposts where the community can go and get all of their government related things sorted out. You know, do they have that for
In Semporna,
like,
sometimes
in Semporna?
Sometimes saya see, but the thing is the number is bigger.
Right.
There's very bigger population.
You mean the Bajau Laut population is very
the
big?
Bajau Laut, and also the one who like being pushed on the land.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think the government have like enough capacity to do that. But if they didn't like take action or didn't have like long plan action for this particular of community, so the number of the population will be much bigger. Yep.
Okay, I see.
So
Because last time, when I do research back then when I started 2018, I see they're just the numbers are like 300,000, 400,000. But
Oh, that's quite a few still.
So
Yeah.
all-
but last year
Okay.
the research found out that 1 million stateless only in Sabah.
Only in Sabah?
Only in Sabah.
Wow.
Even their MP asking that number to Saifuddin in Parliament session, and Saifuddin that didn't give basic and solid answer lah.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, the number is growing.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a lot.
So there's over 1 million people who are
Stateless.
in Sabah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what are some of the initiatives that you've done to help these kids? I mean, like, obviously they can't join, they can't join schools, they can't go to clinics even. So like how do you help take care of them through Sekolah Alternatif?
Borneo Komrad just a small organisation. For full time we just have 8 of us.
Wow.
I mean, we can do all, but we really believe that knowledge and education can change this all. We can see the changes. I mean, we're talking about, if people love asking about what the impact of education, we cannot say much, but if you come to Semporna or Tawau or KK, there are changes within their community. So what Borneo Komrad done within our capacity is to provide education for them, and also we are trying to build the leader within their community. Can you imagine, they are large in number, right? Can you just imagine why there are no some some demand coming from themselves?
Yeah.
Because they are also,
that's one thing I'm wondering. Yes.
because they are also not enlightened who
Right.
they are, and also what they can demand or asking for. Plus, if you are do readings, and also you meet Bajau Laut people yourself, they are very timid. They are very they feel that themselves are very small and like low compared to others. In fact, if you are talking to them, their organic body language also like be like this compared to others.
Inferiority complex.
Yeah. So if we are talking to this community, for example in Island, you're not belong here, you are pendatang, you can go out, they just go because they don't belong here. Doesn't mean that they are not from here, but they are
They don't feel like they belong.
There are some ethnic that really are trying to avoid some conflicts one to another.
Yep.
So from school, from education, we try to educate our students that every person's, either you are stateless or you are citizens, once you are born with rights. But what differentiate is documentation between you and me, and how you can demand and asking is from the authority or the government who are in charge in your country or where you lives in. So right now, from the education, our students are also really managing themselves through the union that they are run to, the student union of Sekolah Alternatif. So let's say once or twice, all the teachers have like really outside, or we have to go to our station. The schools can leave to the mahasiswa or the students to run by themselves. They are independent in that way. They can run projects or community projects by themselves, and that I believe that Borneo Komrad does is not just to enlighten them with knowledge, but also to really brush up the leadership among these students.
Okay, so what what would happen to these kids? Like, let's say if the authorities come to their area, and then will they be captured, or will they be sent to another place? Because I mean, like, they don't have the documents. So what would happen to them in this case?
Definitely, yes. There is truth. Yeah.
Are they treated like pendatang tanpa izin? Are they treated in the same way?
Or will they be deported?
Yeah. Even one of the students, one of the parents, just eating at home, and suddenly the authority came, just take him out and send him to the police station. Not saying that if you are walking around or if you are in school you can be caught. For stateless, it is like you can be caught anywhere and anytime. It's really the frightened for the stateless or undocumented persons cannot be like really described, but it's really risky for them. Basically, we often say if you coming from home to school, also risk for you. But either you just want to stay at home, or you take the risk or come to school.
Right.
In fact, when I took the Grab over in Semporna, they also like the Grab driver said, if you're doing school, it's easy for police to catch them. It's really to hear that, to listen to that. But yeah, it's true. So the process is if once the police caught them, and then they will be like also the immigration department will come in, and also the immigration will make decision where either send them to deportation or detention center, and later send them to original place, either it'll be Philippines or Indonesia. And later, sooner or later, trust me, it'll be really a cycle. They will come back to Semporna because
these kids are not even from Philippines or Indonesia, right? So why will they be sent there?
I don't know. If you are Bajau or Suluk, you'll be sending to Philippines. If you are Bugis, there are some sort of ethnic Bugis. I forgot how the ethnic. You'll be sending to Indonesia. Depends. I mean, it's the assumption, I believe. Yeah.
Right.
So how many kids that you've seen since you started working with Borneo Komrad? How many kids have you seen have been deported or have been caught?
I'm not sure about that, but we just have one former students last month being caught and currently in detention center. Sadly, is he working in island. He just want to go to land just to pass his salary to the family, and yet
how old was he? How old was he?
I think Sabrin is 21, 22.
Wow, young.
Yeah.
And he was sent to
detention center. Yeah, currently he in Tawau. Yeah.
Okay, so another big question that I have is there a representative leader to the Bajau community, or for example, like in Semporna, is there like a tribe elder or someone who is a leader of the community?
There are numerous number.
Okay.
If you are
do you have
talking
like different tribes?
Yeah,
of Bajau?
different tribes, different beliefs, different way of taking their organizations. Right. I really encourage that. I mean, we Borneo Komrad support that. But the organizations, I mean, coming from the stateless themselves, asking or demands for their rights and talking about whatever they are done. There are no specifically, but
Right.
but if you are asking about the organisation of Bajau or Suluk, there are number of
Of
the
leaders.
groups, of leaders.
Yep. Okay. So that leads me to my next question of do how important is it to them to gain statehood, to gain citizenship, for example? Is that important to these leaders? Because obviously it's very hard, especially in a community that is water based. You know, it's hard to poll everyone and ask every person, do you want to be Malaysian or do you want to have a state? Do you want to have a country? So what do the leaders say about this? Do they want it to the extent of we want to have education and healthcare, or do they actually want to be part of the country? What is their sentiment?
About the leaders, I'm not sure because I never talked to them. But for our students, yes, they wanted to be.
They want to be part of
they
Malaysia.
want to be. And in fact, some of them really put themselves, really make them that they are, he or she belongs to Malaysia. And because currently they know what is basic human rights. They know all that.
Also,
And
they understand.
They understand
your students.
And also, some of them really angry why
They
the
don't have
system.
it.
They don't have
Right,
it. Yeah,
right.
They want it.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been working with Borneo Komrad?
Since 2018.
2018.
That's a long
And from your experiences working there, what are some of the most tragic stories you've heard from these kids?
I think the recent one is the Sabrin. You know how like he is like the breadwinner of the family,
Right.
working on the island, coming.
And how long ago
yeah.
was he detained?
I think last month.
Wow.
Last
Wow.
month, yeah.
Okay.
So he just like his intention that want to come to Pekan to the town to pass his salary, and he want to go to island back for work, but in the middle of the journey he been caught.
Right.
Yeah. Some of our students are also involved in child marriage, like really cannot pursue, especially the girls,
Right.
the women cannot pursue, cannot go to school because had to marriage because of the local sentiments and all that. Some of them are really like take turns to go to school because there are no because he or she has to take care of the younger siblings or has responsible in home, and also their struggles. Yeah, but I'm not trying to to put only the struggles on the problems, but the thing is through the education also, the moment why I still in Borneo Komrad or why I do this job is I see hope in this community, because the word hope also didn't exist before I met them.
Right.
I mean, when you come to them, when we say about ambitions, what you're going to do when you grow older, and also how education can impact you, I can see hope within these students. So apart, yes, there are challenges within this stateless community, but I really want to emphasize that there are also hope when we give chances to them.
Right.
Okay. What have been some of the positive changes that you've seen coming from these kids since you started working for Borneo Komrad? Like, what are your hopes and futures for these kids, basically, the futures you want?
As I said, okay, in Tawau, there are two community teachers coming from the students before that. So the students is Lisa and Lily. Before this, they were students, but after graduation, we asked, because after graduation meaning in our school, just like after you reach certain level and you wanted to graduate, and after graduation we also giving them choice, either you want to continue studying, or you can work to help the family. So this Lily and Lisa wanted to be community teacher. So they were teaching since 2020.
Wow.
22 until now.
Wow.
And I can see their teachers, long teachers from 2019 migrate or change to another school in Pitas, and they can manage the school fall by themselves.
Oh,
And I can
that's great.
see, yeah. So the schools can run or can handle by the student themselves. I think there is the positive impact. For example, in Semporna, they run their own environmental projects. So people always blame that kampung atas air or water village very dirty. You throw rubbish into the sea like straight away and all that. Because the thing is, there are no proper waste management system in their area. So our students realize that, and they do a simple waste management. So there are two, the solid waste management and also the food waste management. So from they are having their schedule to collect the rubbish, and second up, the food waste they turn into fertilizer that can be used in their own garden community. So they do this as a routine, and I believe that they have a really good relationship together with the villagers around the school. Yeah, apart from that, they can write, and recently three short films are like being screening in the Freedom Film Fest. So I think they also can shoot, can write a script, which I can't do. But these stateless kids can do when we give hope, when we give chances to them.
No, it's good because like that's how Han here found out about.
Yeah, because I watched the Freedom Film Fest.
Oh, thank you.
And actually, one or two of the short films were actually hilarious.
Yeah, that's good.
They were really funny. Like, I didn't expect like this sort of script would be written by like kids. Basically, how old were these kids?
I think around 15 to 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's impressive.
I can tell you that when they were showing it in the small theater, everyone was cracking up.
Wow.
Everyone was cracking up because it was really funny. I was like,
That's
wow,
impressive.
these kids really, they can do it. Like, if given the the opportunity, if they were given the opportunity, they can actually do it. So it was very refreshing to see, because they were telling stories from their point of view. Like, because some of the stories had like a message behind it. They were talking about waste management. Basically, yeah. So basically, there was a story about these two kids. Like, basically, they sort of like each other.
Right.
And then, do you remember this? Yeah. So they sort of like each other, and then it was the way it was written. It was very cute and funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was nice to see like these kids being given the platform to tell their stories, because
of course.
a lot of them. I think I met Putri, was it? Yeah. So Putri was mentioning. Putri mentioned that these kids really loved writing. They really loved recording. They really loved editing. And
Creative people.
Yeah, creative people. And these are just a small part of the whole of stateless kids.
It's
And
impressive.
yeah. So I think
I have another question,
Yeah.
because I feel like we have to be intellectually honest as well. So we have to ask about Mukmin and his current situation. Yeah. So how is that going for him? What's happening? What are the updates?
Wow, there are so many cases. I mean, are you referring to the Compounds or Sedition Act?
To the sedition.
Sedition Act.
Yeah.
We believe that it is like NFA, because after the questions by the police, there are no further actions taken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I'm not sure. So sure. We are not
So
so sure.
he is free. He's not in jail
I'm
anymore?
not saying that there are no paper that stating that he is free.
Okay.
But after the questions by the police during that time, I think in June, there are no further actions coming or
that's great.
coming to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are some of the other charges that he was being charged for?
Last 2 weeks, there are second demolish organised by the Taman Sabah or Sabah Parks.
Okay.
So during the last day,
And Sabah Parks is part of the Sabah government or federal government, or are they their own entity?
I think Sabah government,
Okay.
to handle the marine life and also
I see.
more to like
Preservation of marine life and things like that.
true.
Okay.
So the last day of the demolish that Mukmin and also the villagers come. I mean, to having to document to document the event, and also to having a conversation, and also to stop the demolish. But however, we couldn't.
Okay.
They just 5 of them, and also
This is the burning of the houses.
the second time they not burn.
Okay.
They just demolish.
Because the first time was so bad. The
Very
PR was
much.
very bad. Yeah.
Very inhuman.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they still proceed they demolish the houses. But the thing is, they compound Mukmin and Mukmin, Putri, and also other 3 villages. Is the reasons why, because they don't have permit to enter the Sabah Parks area. But the thing is, if do you asking for permit if you just staying in the village's house?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's very, yeah, but they will compound 15,000 ringgit for 5 of them, so 3,000 ringgit each of them.
Right.
Yeah. So, and we decided not to pay. And yeah.
So
Okay.
that's how. Yeah.
So where is Mukmin now?
Mukmin now in Semporna. Yeah,
He's in Sabah.
Teaching there.
He's still teaching.
Yeah.
So his day-to-day has not been too affected lately. He's doing okay.
Not really. He also human, but
Yep.
we supporting each other.
Okay.
Yeah, we also having really deep conversation one to another. Not just saying from our colleague one to another, but also together with the students. And also currently we have community coming from Pulau Bot Gaya. The one who affected are always coming and meeting. So, trying to recovering. I mean, not just stating that just current event affected us, but for the past 3 months when our students were caught in Kota Kinabalu, and also about the demolish thing, and also the Sedition Act, it really gave us impact, really put us really low.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, Borneo Komrad haven't experienced this, but we learn a lot. I think this is the phase towards our 10 years of establishment,
Alright.
I believe.
So this is the biggest challenge you faced so
Yeah.
far in the.
So well, when it comes to, see, I have my thoughts about this, and I feel like Borneo Komrad is a very good, is a very big step in the right direction, especially when it comes to naturalizing all these marginalized and stateless people. You know, I do want to ask, however, what are the what are the liaison, or what is the relationship between Borneo Komrad or even these communities with the local politics, like in the sense that, do they have representation in government? Do they have someone at least on the level of the state government who is fighting for them formally?
Or is Borneo Komrad the only organisation that is
No,
helping this?
or not just Borneo Komrad, but NGOs. You know, NGOs mean well and do well, but in terms of actually affecting the change needed to naturalize, to address such an issue as stateless people, needs basically the state, someone in the state at least, to help and to raise this awareness. So is there anyone at the very least in like the Sabah State Assembly, for example, that is aware or championing this cause?
I believe that most of our MPs are not just saying local or in the federal, Dewan Rakyat, they are aware. Because in fact, some of them are really spoke about this in parliament, or having, on our friends in another NGO also having conversation with them. But the thing is, no one really brave to talk it very, very,
to make it a real issue. Yep.
Because the truth is, last PRN, if I'm not mistaken, Syafiq Abdal said about this, talking about this. But the thing is, when he said about this, and he lose,
Right.
I think didn't get vote and all the supports from the citizens and all that. So he claims that, and everybody believe that, because you raise this issue, that's why you lose. So there are like frightened, or there are not believe, at the same time not enough education to educate most of the people what is citizenship, or not saying just citizenship, the rights to documentation issue. So because of this, and also because whatever happens, so it really makes representative, not saying it loudly, but I believe that there are actions taken behind the doors. There are some of our friends who believe that there are the changes coming from these people, they approach directly, but we Borneo Komrad, we believe that changes coming from the people, the affected people ourselves. That's why we our works more towards the ground,
directly with them.
So so yes, we're also having some sort of a meeting or roundtable meeting, but just that's it.
Right.
To take, like, because people always relate to political will and all that.
Yep.
But the thing is, political wills will not also happen coming from the pressure coming from us, people like us. So that's why we must often and educate ourselves about this issue and raising to our MPL ourselves.
Right.
Okay.
For me, what I would like to say about that is, I think something that can really help the community is for more of the community to, obviously you have to solve the issue of statelessness, but you need to get their vote to count. You know, like if we are being honest about things, like brutally honest, there's a reason Sarawak and their indigenous communities were never marginalized by our federal government. In fact, helped a lot. Our federal government helped them a lot monetarily, even basic things, you know, community outreach. The government's doing that. And the main reason for that is because they vote. And they vote and they decide who is in power. So I don't know, obviously it's not an easy thing to do. Especially when it comes to people who are stateless and who have never understood the notion of an election or voting.
True.
You know? You know? So that's not easy. I understand that. I really do. But at the same time, nothing worthwhile ever is easy. You know? So I'm not an expert by any means, but from what I see, I think that would be the best case scenario, is that people in the community get out, become not say activists, but become more and more willing to vote and make their names mean something. Not necessarily by everyone recognizing their name, but then attaching their name to a vote to who can be in power. At least if it's not even on the federal level, at least start with voting someone in who cares about the community on a local level and can build from there.
Alright, unfortunately we are running out of time, but before we finish, perhaps you can say a few words that you want to share with our audience members.
Wow, I didn't expect that this our conversation will be really serious and deep, but I'm really glad having this talk. But
we're usually not that serious also.
But we always repeat this, that government must take action. I mean, we are approaching our 100 years of Malaysia, but these people live within Malaysia. If there are no action taken, wholeheartedly, are we like letting them not just exist, but letting the problems like much bigger when we reach 100 years? So we must plan like really in a long term. So we always asking for jawatan kuasa khas or special committee for this time around for stateless, like involving the agency related, JPN, KDN, and also pendidikan, kesihatan, all that, and also the expertise, people coming from the ground, and within and to completing this issue, giving them access at least to go to school. Because I believe, yes, we understand that to apply for at least documentation taking about 2-3 years, 1 year to the least, but
education is important.
But to wait in the waiting period, the kids are growing up. They're still being denied from their basic human rights. So I think authority, government, or Anak Ibrahim, please look this Bajau Laut or this marginalized community, and because they contribute basically much to our country, not just saying social and so economy. Probably the fish we eat yesterday, they're the one who caught that fish.
And if the politicians want to be selfish about it, just realize one thing: there's 1 million votes for you. If you think about it. Okay.
Yeah. And please educate yourself about what happens, especially in Sabah. It's very far away and very long flight to go.
Yep.
And put solidarity together with
Okay,
us.
so where can our audience find out more about Borneo Komrad or School Alternative?
We have in common social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just find out about Borneo Komrad. Yep. Pandang ke Sabah. Yeah.
All right, I guess that concludes our episode for today. Thank you so much, Shakila, for
Thank you,
joining
Shakila.
us. Yeah, we learned a lot today.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, we learned a lot. So hopefully, I'm not expecting a lot of people to see this, but those that do, please educate yourselves and help out.
Spread the word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spread the word. Help out however you can. And
Thank
see you for the next one. All right, thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
Let's go.